हेलो फ्रेंड्स, क्या हाल चाल? बढ़िया एकदम। आई वेलकम यू ऑल टू प्री वॉरियर बैच ऑफ क्लास 10th competition from Jagalpure Academy. I am Jagalpure Mayur. Today we are going to cover chemistry section from entrance test. Now let us begin with first question of today's class. So first question you can see on your screen. It says that most ductile metal reported is. Now which is most ductile metal? First option is aluminium, second option is gold, third option is antimony, and fourth option is silicon. Now let me explain that. Ductility. Ductility is property of metal by which metal can be molten into thin wires. फॉर एग्जाम्पल हम एक मेटल लेंगे और उसको खींचेंगे। जैसे हम मेटल को खींचेंगे वो लंबी सी तार बनती जाएगा, लंबी सी तार बनते जाएगा। तो हमें ये पूछा है कि सबसे डक्टाइल एलिमेंट कौन सा है। तो डाटा शोन इज दैट 1 ग्राम ऑफ गोल्ड, 1 ग्राम गोल्ड कैन बी मेड इनटू 2.5 किलोमीटर वायर। सोने का 1 ग्राम लेंगे तो हम उसको 2.5 किलोमीटर तक खींच सकते हैं और वो सबसे डक्टाइल एलिमेंट है अर्थ का। सो लेट अस स्टार्ट नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन। द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन सेज दैट वी हैव प्रोवाइडेड विथ C2H5I. C2H5I, it is ethyl iodide. C2H5 is ethyl group. It is ethyl group. Now it is given that it is treated with aqueous KOH. KOH in presence of water. Now if we treat C2H5I with KOH, simple reaction forms here. Here Ki, salt is formed along with C2H5OH. C2H5OH plus Ki. Ki is potassium iodide salt. Potassium iodide. Now product of this reaction is C2H5OH. This is organic product plus salt is formed. Now this organic product is again treated with acetic acid in presence of ZnCl2. Now acetic acid is there, CH3COOH in presence of ZnCl2. Now here reaction will be as like this, C2EH5OH. Now this is COOH. I will draw this COOH as like this, COOH, and it is CH3 here. From these two compounds water will be eliminated. Water will be eliminated and resultant product will be C2H5O, C double bond O, CH3. It is nothing but ethyl acetate. It is nothing but ethyl acetate. So from this reaction we will get ethyl acetate as the final product. So ethyl acetate is given in option B. So option B should be correct answer for this question. Please make sure that you are noting the question and trying before me. Now next question says that an ore of mercury is, they have asked which of the following is mercury ore. Option A is bauxite, option B is fluorospar, option C is cinnabar, and option D is cryolite. Now bauxite is ore of aluminium. It is Al2O3 dot H2O. It is bauxite. Now second option is fluorospar. Formula for fluorospar is CaF2. It is fluorospar. Now third option says that cinnabar, and fourth says that cryolite. Cinnabar is ore of mercury. Sulfide ore of mercury is nothing but cinnabar. And cryolite, its formula is Na3Al(F6). These two are not ores. This is ore of mercury and this is bauxite ore of aluminium. Now fluorospar and cryolite are compounds which are used in extraction of aluminium from bauxite. In the process of extraction of aluminium from bauxite, fluorospar and cryolite are added. So these two are not ores. Cinnabar is ore of mercury. So correct answer should be option C. Now in next question they have asked what is galvanizing. अब बच्चों galvanizing क्या होता है? सपोज एक कोई हमारा मेटल है, ये मेटल शीट है, सपोज दिस इज मेटल, सपोज इस पे जंग लग गया कुछ, तो ऐसा जंग, ऑक्सीडेशन से जंग होता है ना उसमें, तो फिर इस जंग को हटाने के लिए गैल्वनाइजिंग एक प्रोसेस होता है. इसमें जिंक और आइदर जिंक और आयरन आर coated over metal. So this is nothing but galvanizing process. This process is used to shine the metal. Now next question says that there are some statements and we have to find incorrect statement among them. The first statement is the general formula of all compounds in the homologous series is the same. Now what is homologous series? Homologous series. In organic chemistry, there are lots and lots of compounds. For such example, alcohol is there, OH group. Aldehyde is there, CHO group. Carboxylic acid is there, COOH group. So if I take C2H5OH and if I take CH3OH, this is methyl alcohol and this is ethyl alcohol, but these two compounds are alcohol only. This is alcohol, methyl alcohol, and this is ethyl alcohol. Their formula is different, just formula is different, but we can generalize this formula as CnH2n plus 1 OH. Now you can see that if we put N is equals to 1, then we get methyl alcohol. If we put N is equals to 2, we get ethyl alcohol. So this is nothing but homologous series of alcohol. This is homologous series of alcohol. If we take different values of N, then we will get different compounds. So these are nothing but homologous of each other. So next homologous will be propyl alcohol, C3H7OH. So similarly we can form higher homologues of these. Now they asked the general formula of all compounds in the homologous series is same. Now only I explained that if we take CnH2n plus 1 OH, we will get CH3OH, we will get C2H5OH, we will get C3H7OH. So from one general formula I am getting 3 homologous. So general formula is same from this homologue. Now first statement is correct. Now second statement says that they have different functional group. If they have different functional group, they cannot be fit in same general formula. So homologous series should have same functional group. So second statement is incorrect. Now third statement says that physical properties generally show gradual change with increase in molecular formula. Now if I take same example, CH3OH and C2H5OH, the reactive part is OH group. Reactive part in these compounds are OH group. So reactivity, if I take reaction, some particular reaction if I take, then product will be similar. The product will be similar. That means reactivity of this compound is determined by OH and reactivity of this compound is determined by OH. So reactivity will be same. But physical quantity, if I check physical quantity, CH3OH has less mass. If I take molar mass or atomic molecular mass, CH3OH has less molecular mass than C2H5OH. So we know that boiling point is nothing but physical property of these alcohols. We have practically found that boiling point of CH3OH is less than C2H5OH. So boiling point of C2H5OH is greater than CH3OH, but variation among them is very less. So if I continue similarly, C3H7OH will be slight more boiling point. So continue. So physical properties shows gradual change, and fourth option says that chemical properties of the members are different. If homologous series contains same functional group, then their reactivity will be similar. So option fourth is wrong. So we have found that 2 and 4, those two statements are wrong. So option D should be correct answer for this question. Now in next question, it is said that in the formation of NaCl, electron transfer takes from. Now we have to learn formation of salt. I will not give reaction, I will just take electron transfers. Now sodium metal is there. Its electron configuration is 2, 8, 1. Now for chlorine atom, its electronic configuration is 2, 8, 7. Now sodium has incomplete octet. It has one extra electron in its, this is K shell, this is L shell, and this is M shell. For chlorine, this is K shell, this is L shell, this is M shell. Now from this M shell, one electron from sodium metal will come to chlorine atom. So chlorine atom will acquire one electron. Now sodium has lost one electron, so it will gain one positive charge. Cl have gained one extra electron, it will gain negative charge. So if I combine these two, I will get sodium chloride as salt. So in formation of sodium chloride, one electron from M shell is transferred to M shell of chlorine. So let me see now option. Now in option they have said that K shell of sodium metal to M shell of chlorine. So K shell of sodium metal to M shell, it is not correct. M shell of sodium to N shell of chlorine, there is N shell, here there are 0 electrons, so it is also wrong. M shell of Na to M shell of chlorine, so it is correct. So C should be correct answer for this question. And D says that L shell of Na to M shell of chlorine, it is also wrong. So correct answer for this question should be C. Now next question. Next question says that metals do not evolve hydrogen gas on reaction with HNO3. This is because, now they have said that why metals do not liberate hydrogen when treated with HNO3. Now let me explain reaction of acid with salt, reaction of acid with metal, sorry, not salt. So if I take sodium metal plus if I put here HCl, so pop sound will come and we will obtain NaCl plus half H2. H2 gas liberate with popping sound. If we take matchsticks near it, so it will pop. Na plus HCl, it will give NaCl plus half H2. Now if I take Na plus H2SO4, if I take sulfuric acid, then in this case it will form Na2SO4 and again pop sound will come due to hydrogen. Now HCl and H2SO4 are two strong acid. So what I take HNO3 because HNO3 is also strong acid. So if I take HNO3, then practically it was observed that popping sound is not coming. So why? Now you can think that HNO3 is very best oxidizing agent. It is very good oxidizing agent. Even though H2 will form, it will oxidize. HNO3 will oxidize H2 to H2O. Here hydrogen is gaining oxygen, and gain of oxygen means nothing but oxidation, and HNO3 is one of the best oxidizing agent. Now if here H2 forms, then directly HNO3 will convert it into H2O. So even though H2 is formed, scientists they have given that reason why H2 is not forming here. H2 is not forming here because HNO3 is good oxidizing agent. HNO3 is one of the best oxidizing agent, and if HNO3 is one of the best oxidizing agent, it should oxidize H2, and if we oxidize H2, we get H2O as a product. So if we get H2O as product, H2 will not form, so popping sound will not come. So HNO3 will not liberate hydrogen due to oxidation of hydrogen into water. So correct option for this question should be option B. Now next question is from reactivity series of metals. Now what is reactivity series? The reactivity series says that if we order, let us take metals, let us take arbitrary metals here, and if we order them according to their reactivity, मतलब हम सोडियम लेंगे, हम एल्यूमिनियम लेंगे, मैग्नीशियम लेंगे, पोटेशियम लेंगे, सीजियम लेंगे. Suppose 5 elements I have taken, so I have to determine now which of the following is most reactive metal. So they have practically determined series. So if I take these elements, then Cs is most reactive, then potassium is reactive, then sodium is reactive, then magnesium is reactive, and then aluminium is reactive. If I take these elements, so this is the order. Cesium सबसे ज़्यादा रिएक्ट करेगा, रिएक्टिविटी डिक्रीज करेगी, नीचे आने से रिएक्टिविटी डिक्रीज करेगी. सीजियम सबसे ज़्यादा रिएक्ट करेगा, सीजियम की टेंडेंसी रिएक्ट करने की सबसे ज़्यादा होगी, उसके बाद पोटेशियम की, उसके बाद सोडियम की, उसके बाद मैग्नीशियम की, उसके बाद एल्यूमिनियम की. इफ आई टेक दिस cases. Now they have asked a question. They have taken aluminium, magnesium, iron and zinc. Now they have taken aluminium, magnesium, zinc and iron. Now magnesium is from group 2. Magnesium is from group 2 and it is alkaline earth metal. Alkaline earth metal. This is belongs to group 2, group 3. Aluminium belongs to group 3 and these two are transition elements. So we have to remember that zinc is more reactive than iron. Zinc is more reactive than iron, and we have to also remember that group 3 and group 2 metals are more reactive than transition elements. Not always correct, but group 3 and group 2 metals are more reactive than aluminium. Group 3 and group 2 metals are more reactive than transition elements. So if I take order here, magnesium will be more reactive than aluminium. Magnesium will be more reactive than aluminium. So aluminium contains 2, 8, 3 electrons and magnesium contains 2, 8, 2 electrons. So losing 2 electrons is better than losing 3 electrons. So magnesium will lose 2 electrons easily. So magnesium is more reactive than aluminium and these two are more reactive than zinc and iron. So this should be correct answer. So it is given in option D. Now in next question, it is asked that IUPAC name of immediate higher homologue of acetylene. Now what is acetylene? Acetylene. This is acetylene. We have to remember the name. This is acetylene. This belongs to alkyne family. This belongs to alkyne family. And general formula for alkyne group is CnH2n minus 2. If I put n is equals to 2, then what I get? C2H. 2 into 2, 4, 4 minus 2, 2. I get C2H2 and this is nothing but acetylene. Now next homologue. Next homologue means we have to put n is equals to 3. If I put n is equals to 3, then I get C3H4. 2 into 3, 6, 6 minus 2, 4. Now next homologue is, we have to just remove one of the H and we have to join CH3. Remove H and add CH3. Remove H and add CH3. This is next homologue of acetylene. Now acetylene is C2H2 and next homologue is, this is nothing but propyne. We name 3 as prop and there are 2 double bonds, so it is propyne. So IUPAC name of higher homologue of acetylene is propyne. Now next question says that the hydrocarbon 2-methyl-butane is an isomer of. Now let me draw 2-methyl-butane structure. Butane means 4. But means 4. Let me name meth means 1. Meth corresponds to 1. Eth corresponds to 2. Prop corresponds to 3. But corresponds to 4. Pent corresponds to 5. Hex correspond to 6. Heft correspond to 7. Oct corresponds to 8. Non corresponds to 9 and dec corresponds to 10. In class 10th class this is given. So we have to remember this table. Now but. So there are 4 carbons, C, 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 C. Now on second position, this is first, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. Now we have given 2 methyl. So on 2 there is one CH3 group. CH3 group is there. So here CH3 will be there. Here again hydrogen will be there. Here hydrogen, and here there will be 3 hydrogens. Now we have to find isomer of this. So this is, I can condense it as like that: CH3, H, CH2, CH3. Now formula for this compound is, what are isomers? Isomers are nothing but chemicals having same formula but different structures. Now for this formula is C5H12. If I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons and hydrogens, 3 plus 3 6, 6 plus 3 9, 9 plus 2 11, 11 plus 1 12. Now C5H12 is this compound. Now they have given first option N-pentane. N-pentane is nothing but straight chain of 5 carbons: CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. For this formula is, if I take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 2, 2, 2, 3, C5H12. Sum is C5H12. So I can, first option only it is correct. Now propane. Let me check all options. Propane is nothing but 3 carbons: CH3, CH2, CH3. So carbon only not matching, so it is not it is not isomer. N-butane. N-butane is C4H10. So it is not matching. So isobutane. Isobutane is nothing but CH3, CH, CH3 and CH3. Isobutane formula is C4H10 again. Isobutane and N-butane are isomers of each other. Isobutane and N-butane, they are isomers, but they are not isomer of 2-methylbutane. So isomer of this will be N-pentane, which is given in option A. So for next question, they have asked, the element X has atomic number 31. Its maximum valency and group number are respectively. Now element number 31. Atomic number of element is 31. For solving this question, remembering periodic table is most important. So we have to remember at least 40 elements of periodic table. So there will be 31 element is gallium. Gallium is 31st element. 31st element gallium. Now why I remember this? So gallium is at room temperature, above room temperature, at 30 degree above. This is gallium is in liquid form. So if we remember atomic numbers of element in periodic table by some specifications, so we can remember them easily. So gallium is above 30 degrees Celsius. Above 30 degrees Celsius, gallium is liquid at room temperature. Liquid is liquid form. Gallium is in liquid form. So if I remember gallium is liquid form at 30 plus degrees Celsius, so its atomic number is just like that, 31. 30 plus 1 31, as like that we can remember. Now 30. Now gallium belongs to aluminium family. Gallium belongs to aluminium family. Sorry, it is boron family. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. This is 13th group. This is 13th group. In 13th group there are 5 elements: boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. So if we have to remember this, so we can directly remember is that Bal Gangadhar Indian Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Indian Tilak. Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. So gallium belongs to here. Gallium, here it is gallium, so its atomic number is 31, so it belongs to 13th group. So atomic number will be 31 and it belongs to 13th group. Now we can remember that in last cell of aluminum 3 electrons are there, in last cell of boron there are 3 electrons, sorry. So in from all these compounds there are 3 electrons in outermost orbital. So gallium also in last orbital there will be 3 electrons. So element X has atomic number 31, its maximum valency. Maximum valency means how many maximum electrons it can donate. Gallium can donate maximum 3 electrons. Aluminium can gain plus 3 charge. So gallium also form plus 3 charge on it. So maximum valency of gallium is plus 3 and its group number is 13 group. Now next question says that the correct increasing order of atomic sizes of elements sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium. Now trends in periodic table. Trends in periodic table. One of the trend is trend for atomic size. There is periodic table: hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon and so on. Now if I move from one period to next period, I am moving along group. Now along group, here it is for first group 1 orbit there, for second group there are 2 orbits. Now this is nucleus and now these are orbits in which electrons revolve. Now if orbits are added, now this is first orbit, this is second orbit and let me draw one orbit more, so it is third orbit. Now when orbits are added, here first group only 1 orbit, second group there will be 1 orbit and 2 orbit. So if I adding orbit, so radius will increase. For this suppose radius is r1 and for this radius is r2. For compounds of group 2 radius is r2, maximum radius, here some electrons are there, so maximum radius will be r2 and for this r1 surely r2 is greater than r1. So if I move down the group, radius of atomic size increases. Radius increases means atomic size increases. If I move down the group, radius increases and so atomic size increases. Now atomic size increases along the group. If I move downwards, increases when moving down the group. This is theoretical explanation and this is result. So we have to learn theoretical explanations also and we have to remember this result also. Now when I move across the period, suppose certain element is there, this is suppose iron is there, its atomic number is 26. Suppose cobalt is there, atomic number is 27. Now here they both of them belongs to same period. So if I say they belongs to fourth period or third period, whatever it may be. So if I say they belongs to same period, now atomic number of cobalt is more than atomic number of iron. So there will be 27 protons here. 27 protons and here there are 26 protons. So last cell for those two will be same. last cell, but electron number of electrons will be different. Suppose this is last electron, suppose this is last electron for this and this is last electron from this. Now there are 26 protons. 26 प्रोटॉन्स एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को खींच रहे हैं और 27 प्रोटॉन्स एक इलेक्ट्रॉन को खींचेंगे. अगर 27 प्रोटॉन्स खींचेंगे तो ज़्यादा खींचेंगे, ज़्यादा फोर्स से खींचेंगे, तो इसकी ऑर्बिट की रेडियस थोड़ी कम हो जाएगी. ज़्यादा फोर्स से खींच रहा है ना ये न्यूक्लियस, इसको ज़्यादा फोर्स से खींच रहा है, अगर इलेक्ट्रॉन सपोज यहाँ पे है तो यहाँ से भी ज़्यादा से खींच रहा है, तो खिंचाव ज़्यादा है, रेडियस में खिंचाव ज़्यादा है अंदर की तरफ. सो रेडियस ऑफ दिस कोबाल्ट will be slight less than radius of iron. So radius of cobalt is less than radius of iron, and cobalt is right side in period, right side to iron. So if I move rightwards along the period, atomic size is decreasing. So atomic size decreases when moving from left to right in the period. So in the particular period, if I move from left to right, atomic size decreases. Now based on this data, they have given one question for us. They have given sodium, magnesium, calcium and potassium. Now in periodic table, hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon, sodium, magnesium and potassium and calcium. Now only I said that we have to arrange these four. Along the group, atomic size increases. Clearly these two will have maximum radii. So among these two, calcium is right to potassium. So potassium will have most radius, then calcium will come. Now if I have to order between these two, now sodium is towards left and magnesium towards right, and towards the right atomic size decreases. So atomic size of sodium is greater than atomic size of magnesium. This will be order. So atomic size of potassium is greater than atomic size of calcium, is greater than atomic size of sodium, and it is greater than atomic size of magnesium. So let us check in which option they have given correct. So they have given it correct in option A. They have correctly given in option A. They have correctly given. So option A should be correct answer. We have to remember this important result. Based on this important result, many entrance tests have asked these questions. Now, next question, it is asked that which of the following is not transition elements. Now, what are transition elements? Generally, there is biggest misconception. The misconception is that D block elements are transition elements. D block elements are transition elements. This is not correct. This is one of the most misconception to all students. Generally all students have this misconception. They say that all D block elements are transition elements. Now definition of transition elements is that elements showing variable valency. Elements showing variable valency. In D block, if number of electrons in D blocks, they show variable electrons now by forming different kinds of oxidation states. Now d block elements, generally it is misconception that d block elements are transition elements, so it is not correct. Now correct definition of transition elements is that the elements showing variable valency are transition elements. Now zinc, cadmium and mercury, these have d orbitals, they have d orbitals fulfilled d orbital. D orbitals for these is fulfilled. Now since these d orbitals are fulfilled, they cannot generate more than one valency, they generate only one valency. So zinc, cadmium and mercury are not transition elements, but these are d block elements, they are d block elements but not transition elements. Now all transition elements are d block elements, all transition elements are d block elements, but all d block elements are not transition elements. This is the correct. Now they have given us 4 compounds. They have given us thorium, they have given us cobalt, manganese and copper. Cobalt, manganese and copper. Now I take 21 to 30 elements. 21 is scandium, 22 is titanium, 23 is vanadium, 24 is chromium, 25 is manganese, scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper and zinc. Zinc has d10. In d orbital there are 10 electrons. 26 will be iron, 27 will be cobalt, 28 will be nickel and 29 will be copper. Now all these are d block elements, all these are d block elements. And for these, for scandium to copper, d10 configuration is not there, d orbitals are not fulfilled, so they have given cobalt option. Cobalt is transition elements. Copper also they have given, copper is also transition. Manganese also transition element, but thorium is not transition elements. Thorium does not belongs to d orbital and neither it has fulfilled orbital and does not belongs to d orbital, so clearly it will not be transition elements. So for this question option A should be correct answer. In this video we have covered 16 questions from chemistry. Next video will be short video for next 9 remaining questions from chemistry, and next 2 video will be mathematics sections. So आज के लिए बस इतना ही, पढ़ाई करते रहे, ऑल द वेरी बेस्ट।